Shabbat Shalom, Kol Halo Yahweh Bashem Yahashai Bashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily Update. We're going to start with this little video, right? Because what is World War III really all about? The answer is, it's an ambush. The one that you call God, whose name is Yahweh, okay, is setting an ambush for all the armies of the world, right? God's army, who are the angels, are going to destroy all the armies of the world, and after that, they're going to subdue all the nations of the world and bring in who the world ignorantly calls Jesus to rule over the earth. That's how it's going to go down, all right? We're going to start with this video right here of the war in heaven with these things that they call UFOs. These are actually the angels of God and his army, okay? And the Pentagon knows it, right? These people know that the so-called UFOs, the chariots of God, go all the way back to the beginning. They've been around forever. So this is not something new, and it's not something that you can just explain away. Now, this video is going to show a dogfight, if you will, but the chariots are not, nobody's firing, so it's still a Cold War, all right? Still a Cold War situation, but what you're watching is nothing less than the chariots of God, who are the angels, all right? And the one you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahushai, he's an angel as well, all right? So the armies of the world are going to try to fight against the angels and Jesus when he comes back, so that you understand, all right? This is what they're not telling you, all right? And this is what World War III is going to culminate in. World War III is going to start off with the nations of the world fighting against each other, and then midway through the battle, or roundabout, then the angels of God are going to come in from the fourth dimension and make a quick work of all the armies of the world. All right. This is this video is a view of that, if you will. All right. Although they're not firing on each other, they're basically doing a Cold War dogfight. All right. Now, what we're going to see is we're going to see the crosshairs of a fighter jet, and the crosshairs are going to be on what they call a UFO, right? Let's watch.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
So these are the crosshairs of the fighter jet, and they have this guy targeted. This is nothing less than Cold War activity. This guy has weapons too. He's not shooting. Nobody's shooting. Okay? So this is Cold War. Now, it will go hot. All right? So what you're seeing here is what they're hiding. They're calling this a UFO. Well, what does the Bible call them? The Bible calls them the chariots of Israel. We know that Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, has one of these. God has one of these. The angels fly in these things. All right? There are father ships out there with many fighters. This would be a fighter or a recon craft, all right? And what are they doing? They're tracking each other. All right, so this is the war in heaven.
Going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. All dude is LNS, dude. Well, if there's a look at that thing.
It's rotating. It's rotating. And when he turned his countenance to look, that's him turning his countenance, his face. It's rotating. Listen to that.
It's rotating.
got him tracking it.
Nickel 613 Roger.
Now he's got him. They're tracking him.
Roger. They're troubleshooting. Can you talk to moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at the fly.
All right, good enough. Now let's get some scriptures. This is Revelation 12 and 7. And there was war in heaven. That's not in heaven. That's not in heaven. We'll get to that. Michael and his angels. Who was Michael and his angels? Break it down. This is Michael and his angels. This represents Michael and his angels. Okay? Slovakia. Give me some more. Bear with me. This is Michael and his angels. All right? The chariots of Israel. All right, let's read on. Fought against the dragon. This is the dragon. All right? This represents the dragon. All right? And the dragon fought and his angels. If we put blue right here and his blue angels, and then we come over here and look at this, it starts to take shape. Are these not the blue angels? Michael, who is an archangel, okay, fought against the dragon. The great red dragon represents the nation of Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay? The devil, Satan, the old serpent. Okay? So we read it again. And there was war in heaven. We were looking at a video of it. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not, telling you who wins the war. This guy prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. This word heaven is talking about the sky. And the great dragon was cast out. That old serpent, the one in the garden, called the devil and Satan. Okay? So all of those names go back to this guy. All right? Now let's read this in a different version so that you understand when I say the sky. All right, NIV, then war broke out in heaven. NLT, then there was war in heaven. Berean, then a war broke out in heaven. Jump down here. World English Bible. There was war in the sky. New Heart English. There was war in the sky. All right. Here's the war in the sky. And we just saw it. We saw it in the video right here. War in the sky. Oh, this is war in the sky. What the hell is this? Yep, that's the war in the sky, which will soon go hot. All right. Now that we understand that, before this happens, there's got to be the conventional war, World War III. What is World War III doing? God is bringing the armies of the world together so that he can launch an ambush, much like he did in Egypt. This would be Moses about to lead the children of Israel through the strike zone. Once Moses gets to the other side and the children of Israel on the other side, Pharaoh, like the dumbass that he is, takes his whole army, right? into the strike zone. Exactly what God is going to make the armies of the world do. Okay? It's an ambush. Now let's go and investigate it. Let's go take a look at it. All right, this is Joel 3. Joel 3 and 2. God said, I will gather, start here, for behold, in those days and at that time when I, all right, the Lord judges the nations. I is talking about God, Yahweh. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's read that in the NLT. Come on now. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? There will I judge them for hurting my people, my special possession, my people Israel. I'm going to get them into the strike zone, which is the Middle East, the Valley of Jehoshaphat. And there, I'm going to do to them what I did to Pharaoh. Pharaoh and his army. Because God is a God of war. He's a man of war. And he'll set your ass up in an ambush and destroy your whole army with you in it and your chariots. Well, that's what he's doing. All right? Plain and simple. Read down. Start at 9. Joel 3 and 9. Say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Why? Because I'm leading you into an ambush. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. All right? Now, let's get this in the KJV. Assemble yourselves, this is Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. And then, after that, it says this, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Uh-oh. Who are God's mighty ones? So, he's saying, I'm going to start World War III. Then, out of the fourth dimension, the angels are going to get into the fray. All right? This is the reason for World War III. It's an ambush. All right? What did God say he was going to do? I will gather together. I will gather all nations. Okay, remember that gather. Right here, Amplified Bible. I will do what? Gather together. All right? I'm going to gather them together. Why? It's that ambush. All right? Now, when we go here to 2nd Ezra 13, let's go there. Start from the top. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man, right? Who's that man? This man. One in the biggest chariot. They call him Yahushua. The world ignorantly calls him Jesus. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance, it's rotating. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Those dudes were in awe. Look, it's rotating. Okay, they were trembling. And whensoever the voice that went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. This is his voice is talking about the laser beam, the weapon system on the craft, on the war chariot. Okay? Concentrated fire. They burned. So he's coming back to burn shit up. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. That's talking about this fight. They were gathered together to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Look at that thing fly. Isn't that what they were saying? A great mountain. Got to go through it. Should be coming around the what? The mountain. The original song was published in Old Plantation Hymns in 1999. It ostensibly refers to the second coming of Yahushua HaMashiach and subsequent rapture, with the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. That mountain, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or the place whereof the hill was graven, and I could not. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. This is that war in heaven. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, or nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Now it's going to describe the weapon systems, the lasers. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. Who won? And burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Ezra was afraid at the vision he was being given. All right. Revelation 19. We're going to get to the war. This is the war. Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. That white horse right there. And somebody was sitting on him. Faithful and true, and in righteousness doth he judge. God said, I'm going to judge those nations and make war. All right? And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. There's a white horse right there. White horses. Okay? White horses. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. That's that laser, that it should smite the nations. Okay? And after he takes them all down, he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of Almighty power. Okay. Jump down to 19. And I saw the beast, which is NATO and the EU, and Babylon the Great, which is America, and the kings of the earth and their armies. He saw them what? Gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse. So this is what is about to take place. And against his army, the angels. So the kings of the earth, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Boris Johnson, Trudeau, sleepy Joe Biden are the kings of the earth, and the EU, European Union, and NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, I believe, or North American, one of the two. And the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together, that goes back to Joel, to make war against him that sat on the earth, sat on the horse, and against his army, the angels, okay? And they're going to be defeated. Going back to the ambush. Same thing. Why did God do this with Moses? Because he was taking his people, he was delivering his people. Moses is an Israelite from the tribe of Levi, and the rest of the Israelites were following him. He was delivering his people out of bondage, out of slavery. All right? That's the same thing that's going on right now. That's the reason for World War III. Okay? I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people, Israel, among the nations, and for dividing my land. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. Do we got to get all of that? We got to go back and get slavery, slave auctions. Who are God's people? Yocheved. These are the Jews. These are the Israelites. Okay? Why God is mad about this? Well, that happened a long time. Well, one day is 1,000 years to God. All right? So keep talking crazy, and you'll learn exactly what's going on and why. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. Okay? But, jump down here. But I will bring them back from all the places to which you sold them, and I will pay you back for everything you have done. I will sell your sons and your daughters to the people of Judah, and they will sell them to the people of Arabia. All right? Now, that's why. Why World War III? It's an ambush. Why? Because of what you did to his people. Okay? What did God do to the Egyptians? Well, he ambushed them and he destroyed them. Why? Because of what they did to his people. All right? All right, good enough. So what we'll do is we'll go look for a couple of headlines and find out where we are. This is the update part. We had to get the why first. Let's go to Deep Journal. Wow, terminated. Deep Journal is terminated? Wow. This account has been terminated for violating. Oh, wow. It wasn't terminated yesterday. That was one of my favorite channels. All right, Carrier Pigeon. Carrier Pigeon, 4 days. Come on, Carrier. You tripping. They're usually up to date within, 3 or 4 hours of each other. So, military leaks. All right, 1 hour ago, see? 3 hours. 6 hours. Okay. 9 hours, 22. Philippine Navy sinks China and Russian warships. So the Philippines is on the side of the Americans, Babylon the Great. Russia deploys warship to Black Sea in dangerous escalation near Ukraine. Okay, that's happening 9 hours ago. Russian unstoppable weapon 20 times faster than the speed of sound. Hypersonic missiles. Okay. Footage leaks showing U.S. F-35 jet crash in South China Sea. They're running over there trying to see who can recover it first, like it was a UFO, right? 1 hour. Satellite image shows major construction underway at 3 of China's air bases closest to Taiwan. So, as you can see, this is World War III jumping off. Jumping off. And the troops are about to be gathered into the valley of Yahweh Shabbat, the Middle East. Okay. Let's get secret files. 11 days, secret files is tripping. They must be put on a penalty. What happens when you get put in the penalty box? Well, that's pretty much it then. We could watch one of these. Did we look at secret reports? I think we did. A month ago. Wow, so I'm losing Deep Journal's gone. I can't believe it. Let's look at this guy real quick. Battlefield Ethiopia. There's a battle going on there. This is a day ago. All right, so we're not going to watch any of this. Let me see. Carrier. That's 4 days ago. This is crazy. No Deep Journal. What was it? Secret Files? Let's see. It wasn't Secret Files. That's 11 days. It was military secrets, military leaks. Okay, what did I want to see? Let's look at this.
Russian hypersonic missiles can fly 20 times faster than the speed of sound, threatening the U.S. soil. The maneuvering capability of the Avangard hypersonic missile makes it difficult to predict its trajectory, and gives it the ability to protect itself from air and ballistic missile defenses by delivering nuclear warheads to targets, for instance, in Europe and the U.S. On Friday, Russia's military deployed a new intercontinental weapon, the Avangard hypersonic missile system that can fly 27 times the speed of sound. This will be the Russian military's first Avangard hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle is a technological vehicle comparable to the 1957 Soviet launch of the first satellite. Last month, Russia's defense ministry demonstrated the Avangard system to a team of U.S. officials as part of transparency measures under the New START nuclear arms treaty with the country. Previously referred to as Project 4202, the Avangard hypersonic missile system is a re-entry body carried atop an existing ballistic missile, which has the capability to maneuver. Its maneuvering capability makes it difficult to predict its trajectory, and gives it the ability to protect itself from the air and ballistic missile defenses by delivering nuclear warheads to targets, for instance, in Europe and the US. According to Missile Threat, the origins of the Avangard can be traced back to the mid-1980s, when Russia first started research on hypersonic warheads. It notes that in past Russia has repeatedly stated that it is developing hypersonic weapons to ensure that Russian strategic forces can penetrate future U.S. air and missile defenses. The Avangard missiles have a range of over 6,000 kilometers, weigh approximately 2,000 kilograms, and can withstand temperatures of over 2,000 degrees Celsius. Citing analysts and observers, the report says Avangard's development and deployment will not change the existing balance between the U.S. defensive forces and the Russian offensive, since the U.S. maintains that it cannot defend against the existing warheads on Russian missiles, let alone the more advanced missiles such as Avangard.
All right, and there you have it. Let's get the missiles real quick. Oh, we're gonna do that. Let's go. Let's go here. This is Second Esdras 6 and 13. What the whole thing? Let's start right here. Second Esdras 6 and 10. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not utterly be who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep. The waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong, okay, so for strong goes into all of this that you just read. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. All right, the bow would be the silo. His arrows, those nukes that we were just watching, those missiles, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, like they were just showing you, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. What arrow do you know, right? Goes from one end of the world to the other. Behold, the plagues. What plagues? Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, they shall not be put out. It shall consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow, broken arrow. What is a broken arrow? Which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. What plagues? Let's get that, Zechariah. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. What causes that? What can cause that? All right? What can cause that is a nuclear explosion. All right? Let's get this. Broken Arrow. Oh, it's a movie that came out anyway. Yeah, what was the movie about? Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow. It says a 1996 action thriller directed by da 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 da. Come on, what is it about? Broken Arrow is a city. Okay. Okay. Air Force pilots Vic Deakins and Riley Hale are sent on an overnight top secret mission with 2 nuclear weapons aboard. The Broken Arrow would be the nuclear weapon. Okay. Let's see. Let's go like this. Meaning, U.S. military uses the term broken arrow to refer to an accident that involves nuclear weapons or nuclear weapon components. All right. And not so much broken, we're looking at arrow. The arrows that he shooteth, for his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. All right? So we know what we're saying over here. All right? We're breaking down what is going on in the world, filtering the news events, the current events, and the headlines through the scriptures and letting you know what is going on. All right, so we'll get this and we'll get the hell out of here. Revelation 11. 11 and 14. The second woe, meaning the Second World War, is past. And behold, the third woe, World War, cometh quickly. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified. And with that, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom.